So comment, subscribe, dislike, or like. Check out the links in the descriptions for other of my sites, other activities that I'm involved in. Got a whole bunch of Facebook groups you can check out. I play multiple card games, so I do music among other things, so check out the links in the description. So this is my few Zamasu Gogeta Godspeed turn into Tide deck. One copy of the leader. 4 Oceanus Shenron, 4 Shenron Figure Majesty, 4 Enraged Eminence Gogeta, 4 Android 17 turn Tide, 4 Almighty Dual Zeno, 4 Gogeta Godspeed Demolisher, 4 Gogeta Effortless Sprite, 4 Gowasu Zamasu's Master, 4 SS Vegeta thwarting the enemy, 4 Goku Hellish Throwdown, 4 Goku and Vegeta Saiyan Synergy, 4 All Too Easy, 4 Majin Buu Unison, 4 Gotenks Unison, 4 SS4 Goku Protector of the Earth, 60 card build. The Gogeta part of the deck obviously comes from the 2 Gogeta cards we have in here. We got the 8 drop and the 5 drop. The 5 drop. So obviously part of the deck strategy is to put cards back into the deck to keep you in the game longer. That's what Gowasu comes in. That's what this Gogeta comes in. This Vegeta, turning the Tides, Almighty Dual Zeno. These cards have the ability to put cards back in your deck. I mean, even Vegeta and Goku's same synergy has the ability to put itself on the bottom of the deck to activate its auto. So you have ways of putting cards back in your deck, so that way you reduce the chances of you decking out, which is the idea. And then, Shenron's just to help you reuse the Gowasu, so you can use them to just keep putting, recycling cards back and putting cards back and buying your deck, so you can stay in the game longer if your opponent manages to do you any damage, so you don't deck out. So there's that. We do have a Goku that's a blocker. I prefer it to be a negate, but there's no one drop blue Goku negate. At the current moment, we do have Vegeta that negates, and of course we have a Goku and Vegeta that can negate. So we have them for those synergy. They're 1 drops. You need them for Gogeta Effortless Strike because he has the active main ability where you pay 1 blue energy. If your opponent has 3 or more energy and you place 1 blue Goku and 1 blue Vegeta, their energy cost of 1s, from your drop area to the bottom of your deck in any order, then you can play this card from your hand. So this, just for 1 blue energy, this can let you recycle 2 of your Vegetas and go, 1 Vegeta, 1 Goku. And this same synergy counts as both Vegeta and Goku, so you can grab one of these and any of the other 2, and it will count. You can grab 2 copies of Vegeta and Goku because it'll count as one will count as Goku, the other one count as Vegeta, that kind of stuff. So there's some level of synergy. So this and with either one of these 2, fits the criteria for this card's effect. So the point is, obviously you want to recycle them, put them on the bottom of your deck through this effect. So this will at least guarantee you have at least 2 cards at the bottom of the deck. So you have some recycling there. Plus you have a 15k blocker has unique, so keep that in mind. But then the other thing we're going to do with it is that it's an evolved target, so it helps us recycle. It's a blocker if we need to use it to block. But then it's an evolved target for Gogeta Godspeed Demolisher, which is a 30k double strike with dual attack, so it has a potential of doing 4 damage by itself, or at least 2. Right? You EX evolve for 2 blue on top of a Gogeta with an energy cost of 5, and we obviously have a Gogeta energy cost of 5. So these 2 are, obviously just regular Gogeta, not Gogeta BR. So keep that in mind. So these obviously supposed to have synergy with each other, and they do. So I like that. So for a total of 3 energy, you can play this 8 drop Gogeta through this evolution chain, which means you will have a lot of energy left over, right? The first auto, which is once per turn, if your leader card is mono blue, which it is, right? When this card is played, so as soon as you play it, you get this effect, or when your opponent activates a battle card skill, like blocker, stuff like that, which is decent, especially when you swing. Your opponent tries to use blocker, trigger this effect, right, and bounce the blocker out the way. But the thing is, when you play them, you're good getting rid of the blocker anyway. That's the whole idea. You're going to use this to try to get rid of blockers so they can't block your attack. But anyway, if they activate the skill of a battle card, you can choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards and return them to the owner's hand. So that comes in handy. The nice thing is if it's on your opponent's turn, right? Because on your opponent's turn, they activate a battle card skill. You can use this effect to bounce 2 of their battle cards to their hand. So it's a good effect to have on your opponent's turn. Then it has the second auto. If your leader card is mono blue, which it is, and you have 6 or fewer cards in your hand, so if you have a small hand size, which is not impossible, at the end of your opponent's turn, they choose 3 cards in their hand and then bottom deck the rest of their cards in hand. So you kind of perfect force sell them at the end of their turn. Now I'm curious if that auto, if he has to stay on the field for that auto to trigger, or at the end of your opponent's turn, or it'll apply anyway. That I don't know. I am curious to know the ruling for that, right? But I'm assuming for now that it does have to stay on the field for that effect, because some effects tend to linger after the battle card leaves. So that's what I'm asking. So I would like it to still apply, even if my opponent manages to get rid of this card. I still would like it to apply. But if it has to stay on the field for it to apply, fair enough. It is a powerful effect. But the main thing is that we're just mainly using this as like a finisher, a cheap cost finisher. That's the main thing. Because most finishers, especially like a 30k double strike dual attack, tend to cost a lot of energy. So you tend to tap out just to play it, just to try to use it, to go for game. And sometimes you don't succeed in going for game, and then you're tapped out and you're at a disadvantage and blah, blah, blah. Your opponent hits you on the clapback, right? But what's nice about this chain is that it's a very low cost. It's a total of 3 energy. I forgot the term, but just you only have to pay 3. Commitment there. Only 3 energy commitment. I don't know why I can't remember that word. So just a 3 energy commitment just to get this bad boy out there, 30k double strike dual attack, which is a good quality, finisher. The fact that you can get this essentially early game is pretty nice, because you just gotta meet the requirements. So if you ever combo off like the Gokus and the Gogetas and stuff like that, you can get this bad boy out as soon as turn 2, right? Because you'll drop this for 1 energy on turn 1, and then on turn 2 drop this on top of it. Bang, now you have a 30k double strike. They can attack twice, and then like I said, if it stays on the field long, and you have 6 or less cards in your hands, boom, opponent hand drops down to 3. So that'll give you a lot of advantage. So it's something to look into, something to consider. Does have some competitive use for it. Of course, we have Enter 17 Turn Tides, another card that can help us, drastically reduce our opponent's hand size relatively easy just by playing it. But this is you have to dedicate 7 energies to play it out. We don't ramp it in this deck, but we do try to stall to, with card effects to try to get to 7 energy to play this bad boy out, which is not too difficult in this build, especially with the fact that we recycle a lot of our cards, so we stay in the game a little bit longer. Then, of course, we got this Goku, Unison that has the auto floodgate ability. We have Oceanus to try to help us stay in the game long enough to play this on 7. But sometimes you have this situation where you could play this, or you could just play out this chain all in one turn. Because again, like I said, it's only 3 energy commitment just to get this bad boy out there as a finisher, and then it has somewhat of a floodgate-like ability. What's nice about this is this, and then you have this in play. The fact that this can minus and get rid of a battle card, and if your opponent plays a battle card, the skill of a battle card, you can use this to bounce 2 battle cards. So it gives you a lot of control and the ability to interact on your opponent's turn, having that stuff. So something to definitely consider, guys. I already bought my play set of these cards right here, these Goku, Vegeta, and the Gogeta cards, just in case other people also like this strategy. These cards don't go up in price too fast, so I made sure I got them nice and cheap. I think it cost me like $38 or something to get all these cards. So, see what happens. Of course, Gowasu combo, and you bottom deck up to 3. That's an important up to 3. I keep thinking I have to do 3, but it's actually up to 3. So you could do just like 1 or 2 battle cards and put it at the bottom of your deck. But also remember, you have to discard a card when you use this a combo. Right? One of the things we do other than comboing this. So a little battle trick would be is if your opponent has enough, let's say you have 10 cards, your opponent has double strike, and then they dump their whole hand into that double strike. Obviously, a nice little trick to do would be to combo this to put up to 3 cards, but if you want to do 3 in that situation, do 3 cards. Don't just do 2, do 3. Definitely don't do 1 because you'll lose anyway. Do 3 cards, right, back on the bottom of your deck, and then you just take the double strike. You'll lose 10 cards, but you'll still have 3 cards left in your deck. Make sure you put them in the order you want. So, like an example would be to put 17 on top of the stack to make sure that you draw it next, right? And then you can play it, and then use its effect, obviously, to put the cards in your hand back in your deck, so that we still have cards in your deck, so you don't deck out in case you don't finish your opponent off the turn in which you play 17, and of course your opponent loses their hand in the process. And try to go for game, and if you go for game and win, then great, right? If not, at least put some cards back in your deck so you can stay in the game a little bit longer, just a little bit longer. So it's something to keep in mind. But the good thing is, I did say something about they dump their whole hand trying to end you out, right? This is, this is the good thing about this battle trick is that they literally can dump their whole hand into the attack, and then it's like, oh, I played this, I combo this, and kept me alive. I didn't deck, I'm not gonna deck out, so the clapback's gonna be really hard. So you could just win just through this alone. So this can be a win con under the right condition, because you just need enough cards for your opponent to be like, oh yes, I can finish you off with a double strike, dump my whole hand, and then you just be like, oh, go awesome, guaranteed I don't die from double strike, and he's trying to clap back. So that's a little pro tip right there for how to use that. One of the things we're gonna do typically is use Gowasu over and over again. And when you combo them, remember you have to discard. Please remember that. Sometimes I forget that. And remember you have to discard. So treat them like Oceanus. You gotta discard for its effect. If you want the effect, obviously, right? So Shenron Figure Majesty is one way we recycle it, so we can use it over and over again to keep recycling stuff from a drop. Always combo it on your turn. Unless you're doing that battle trick and you have it in your hand, then you can combo it on your turn. But if you bring it back with Shenron Figure Majesty, make sure you attack, combo it off right there, and then get the effect. You don't want to give your opponent the chance to try to get rid of it with a skill and then attack you, right? Because then you won't get to combo it, right? So you want to do it on your turn. So as soon as you get the effect, the better. But if it's in your hand, yeah, save it for that nice little battle trick. And the fact that this lets you draw a card before you bring back the Gowasu and then combo off, you guaranteed at least 1 card to pitch for Gowasu. So that's something to keep in mind. That's the main thing we do with Shenron. He's just a way of letting us recycle our Gowasu, so we can just have a infinite life energy engine, whatever you want to call it. He does have other potential uses in case you want to play something like, let's say you want to play the 5-drop Goku, but you want to have at least 2 energy to play an Oceanus, just in case. Then you can obviously use this to draw a card and untap 2 energy, so you can have the 2 energy for Oceanus, but still have this thing auto in effect. Then you can use this -2, obviously, clear your opponent's board to just make it harder for them to attack you on the clapback. But you might want to be able to negate and block leader and unison swing, since this only makes it harder for battle cards to swing, but doesn't stop unisons and leaders. So you might want to back it up with Oceanus. Just some little tidbits. Obviously, I like using Who because of its -1 ability, plus the fact that I could draw a card and untap an energy, so that way I don't typically not tapped out. And that 1 energy it matters because I can use it for the Goku and Vegeta synergy, which can negate an attack and technically Senzu Bean if I need to, which can help me survive a turn. And of course we got a lot of 1 energy counterattacks. So something to keep in mind. Especially this, you could play from the drop, so having that one energy up, makes a difference. Let's see. Almighty Zeno, helps you with board wiping. Gotenks helps you get rid of things with barrier. It has dual attack blocker, the usual stuff. All of these cards are obviously self-explanatory. The fact that Boo is double strike and is a blocker, so you can obviously swing with it, apply pressure. You'll use this a lot, plus you'll draw a type of energy, so you can keep your hand size nice and thick, as well as keep an energy up for defense. Plus he's a blocker, plus he has a -1 ability, so you can potentially stop 3 attacks. Not much else, everything is relatively self-explanatory. Enrage Vegeta lets you, put 3 specifically. He's the one you have to do 3 battle cards specifically. So he lets you put 3 battle cards between the cost of 3, 7, so he can grab, let you put your Android 17 back, your Almighty Zeno, definitely put back your Oceanus, so you can keep using that floodgate ability. Plus, you never know, you might be able to deck your opponent out with this. And that's a win for you either way, so that's a potential win con. Not much else to say here. You should already know what the leader does. When you're awakened side, when you're awakened side, you obviously, every time you take damage, you mill 5 cards. So we're always trying to put cards back into our decks, because our deck becomes our life points. So that's what we're always looking for. And go try the deck out. It's really fun. I did some hand testing. I haven't done any play testing, but I've done some test hands. And the cards definitely have a lot of synergy. It's definitely a lot of fun, playing the Gogeta package, if you want to call it that. So, see you in the video.